You ready? Are you ready? Are you on? Okay. Welcome back to Make It Custom. I'm Carl Fisher. Today we are gonna make a circle cutter for your plasma cutter. I wanna make a couple of donuts that I'm gonna use in a future video, so I need to cut out circles. Yes, I have a CNC. No, not everybody has one. So I'm gonna take the plasma cutter off of my CNC and show you how to make a circle cutter. Really quick and easy. I do this all the time, and basically it's just a piece of flat bar with a bunch of different holes in it that allows you to do it, but there's a couple of tricks that I do to make the circle cutter a little bit smoother. So we're gonna make one right now. First thing we gotta do is get the plasma cutter off of this table. I'm just gonna unscrew it here and unplug it. Forgive my janky trigger. It's because this always has to stay open so that I can stick it on there. So yes, it's janky. Just gonna plug this back in. The tip that I use for the plasma cutter on the CNC is a different tip than you would use if you were using it handheld. Because the CNC doesn't touch, this doesn't have a drag tip on it. So I gotta take that off. If you have a drag tip, it usually looks something like that, where it's meant to touch the metal. It allows sparks to come through on all sides here. So for our purposes, the reason we need to use this is so that we know what size hole to drill for this to fit into our circle cutter. This is just 1/8 by 3/4, it looks like, or 1-inch flat bar. It's just gotta be wide enough that you can drill a hole for this to fit into. Then we're gonna drill a hole for the center of our circle, and then also on the other side, we're gonna drill another hole for like a little handle, so we can use 2 hands to turn it. I find it a little bit difficult. I've done it before a bunch of times where I just drill a hole for the pivot and drill a hole for the plasma cutter. It sometimes gets stuck, it's a little bit harder to handle. So that's why I like to make it the full size so that we've got a way to help it around the circle. So right now, I'm gonna figure out my holes. My circle is going to be 10-inch outside diameter when I'm finished. So I've got to subtract the thickness of the material. I'm gonna be 9 3/4 finished circle for my purposes. So I need to half that for the distance between the pivot point and our cutting kerf. So 9 3/4 in half, 4 7/8. Yeah, I know, Japanese. Okay, so 4 7/8 from the center. I'm gonna pop a center hole in here. So let's just mark a quick center. Gonna be our center, and then a little bit more accurately, .875, close enough. That is our one side. The other side that you're holding on to can be however long you want it to be. If it's a little bit longer, I find it's a little bit easier to kind of pull it around. So maybe I'll do 6 inches. Because I'm trying to make a donut for my purposes, I want to cut 2 circles. The other one is going to be 2 inches in from that 4.875. So I'm going to mark that one next. I'm just going to mark center, center. I know you can barely see that, but I can see it. Okay, we've got our points of contact there. So we've got pivot point, inside radius, outside radius, and then this is handle right there. So I'm gonna drill these holes. These 2 here that are gonna be for our plasma cutter, those have to be the size of our drag tip. So our drag tip, we gotta measure that. It's about 7/8 of an inch. It's a little bit over 7/8 of an inch. So I might do a 64th larger than 7/8 of an inch, which is 29 64ths. That is gonna be the hole I drill for the drag tip. I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch bolt for the pivot point, and then I found this little thing in the bin. This is what I'm gonna use as a handle. You can use anything. You could tack weld a piece of round bar on there, but I found this in the bin. It's pretty much what would be perfect. So it's got a 1/4 inch bolt. So I'm gonna drill a 1/4 inch hole for the handle as well, and then I'll just be able to bolt this on, and that will help me spin it. Just gonna give these a little bit better center punch. Those are our pre-drills. Now I'm gonna jump up to 1/4 inch for our handle. These two I still have to enlarge. Since I'm not using a drill press, I like to step up my bit sizes just so it's a little bit easier. I got one more to go. I should be wearing safety glasses. And maybe gloves. Christina's all safety geared up. She's too shy to turn the camera around. She thinks she looks goofy, but she looks like a shop teacher from the 70s videos that you probably saw in high school. Well, I just about ripped my arm off with the drill. Don't do that. Use a vise, even if you don't want to. I'm just gonna countersink these a little bit, make the burrs go away. Actually, there's one more hole I want to drill. The reason being is that when this tip sits in here, it sits nicely in there. When that tip sits in there, you know, this is quite close to the material and it might bump around. I've had this kind of pop out before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill a little hole right in the middle here. And I'm just gonna put this round button head screw right there. And that's just gonna allow that to be kind of the point of contact and an easier slide. Sometimes they can get caught up on slag or whatever else, so I like to put just a little button head screw right there. Deeper that little guy. All right, now I'm gonna chop this thing off and assemble it. Okay, there it is. Have a good look at that. We've got a hole for our handle, our pivot point, and then our 2 radiuses, plus our little trick on the end here. I'm just gonna assemble it up for you guys. Stick this little guy in there. Okay, it's gonna slide against our sheet metal like that. Here's our little handle. This is the first time I've used one of these on there. It's pretty cute. Okay, so there is our circle cutter. So we're gonna choose where these circles are gonna go. I'm gonna get one out of the sheet right here. So somewhere like that should fit. I think I can get another one right about there. I foresee a small problem with my handle because it's got that little nub on the bottom and it's a bit extra long. It could potentially catch on something. You really want to be smooth with this shit. The smoother you are, the better the cut's gonna be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a bend. I don't know if I can do it by hand or not. Oh yeah, no problem. I just gave it a little bit of a step up so that this nut or this bolt won't interfere or catch on any of the edges here. Next up, we're gonna bolt it all together. So what I like to do is I like to run a bolt with a washer from underneath through this plate. We're gonna go like this, right up through, and then run a washer there. Put that on, another washer, and then a nylock. Okay, the nylock is a little bit important here. The reason being is that you want to be able to tighten it up, but not make it too tight. So the nylock's gonna keep it from being too tight. See, that is a little bit too tight. You wanna back it off just a little so that it spins freely. and there's no play. You don't want this to be rattling around. You want it to spin freely like that. So we're gonna test this out. This is a pretty high amperage tip. I thought that I had one for 45 amp, but I'm running 65 amps on this plasma cutter, which should be able to cut that pretty dang fast. So we'll give it a go and see how well we do here. The key on this, this is kind of hard with my janky trigger, but you want to be able to be smooth. So kind of do a test run. Make sure you can be smooth. Okay, here we go. That worked wicked. I'm even a little bit surprised at how well that worked. I didn't stall at all. So this is actually the first time I did that extra little bit of help there, that extra little thing. It works awesome. So that's my basic circle cutter. It's a little bit more deluxe than just having a flat piece of flat bar on there. My next plan is to do this one. Don't cut the inside one out first or else you'll lose your center. So if you're gonna cut a donut like I'm cutting, and on the next video, you see why I'm cutting these donuts. Make sure you do your outside cut first. So now I'm gonna cut this other one. We'll try and get the same result. So there it is, circle cutting with your plasma cutter. You don't need a CNC to make beautiful circles like this. Hopefully you guys learned a little something about making your own circle cutter. They're pretty easy, pretty inexpensive to just make one up with what you've got in the shop. You'll be able to make circles like this. This particular donut is for the next video. I'm going to show you guys how to make your own tube bends. So I'm gonna complete that into a tube bend that you can cut up and use the rounded radius corners for building stuff with tubes. Stay tuned for that one. Thanks a lot for watching Make It Custom, everybody. Really appreciate all the comments, the love, the likes, the shares. Right now, it's Thursday, and this Saturday, Metal Reborn will be live on YouTube, on metalreborn.com. Please go check it out. Everybody will be able to see it. It's what we just had our big drive-in movie night premiere and our online premiere for. Now, everybody can have it for free. Hope you guys love that documentary. We had an amazing time making it. Speedline Filmworks, the people that did this film, they're just incredible. I can't say enough good things about them, and hopefully we'll be working with them in the future. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit notifications. We'll catch you on the next one.